Hi, everybody. This is Tariana from IIT. Welcome to the final session 13 of the Summer Coding Sampler. Nick was going to host this session for us. Something came up and he's unavailable at this time, but he was able to pre-record the webinar before now. So I'm going to go ahead and run that pre-recorded segment, and then I will be back on camera when that finishes. So I'm going to turn it over to Nick.
Hello all, how are you doing today? This is Nick Gonzalez here from OIIT. This is the BPS Coding Sampler final webinar. Today we're going to be covering MIT App Inventor. Just want to say hi, say hello to everyone. I hope everyone's doing well and that your summer is winding down well. Here at OIIT, things are heating up. We're getting started, get ready for the new year. Big year computer science and coding coming along, and so again, hopefully. We're hoping teachers are going to take advantage of all the coding all the coding seminars and tutorials that are going to be available in the next from this coding series. So thanks again for watching, and again, this is the final one, and again, thank you for joining us. For those who have watched every single one, wow, you're awesome. Thanks for joining again. Today, again, we're going to be covering MIT App Inventor, and that's going to cover app design and specifically focusing apps for Android devices. So that could be your Samsung phone, right here, ish. It could be any other type of Android phone or Android tablet or device. Tablet device. This isn't something that's used for computers or laptop or desktops. Although you do have the option of actually testing and simulating your programming and your code on your laptop, but you have to download an emulator. And that's one thing we will go into when I show you how to access MIT App Inventor and how to go about starting your projects and whatnot. Again, this coding webinar focuses specifically on app development, and we're going to go through a couple of the first easy apps that you can have your students do within 30 minutes. And if they're really good, you can have them do it within 10. Again, this is a great way to get your feet wet, and if you have any coding experience at all, especially with Scratch and any kind of coding or block coding, this is going to really cater to you. However, if you don't have any experience with coding, this is also pretty easy in terms of programming and whatnot. So again, if you've never coded before, please, I encourage you to join along. It's really easy to follow and easy to handle. But if you do have coding experience with block coding, you're going to find that you fit right in here. Again, thanks again for joining, and we're going to get into it right now. I'm going to come over here. Now, as I said before, as I said earlier, Android, you use App Inventor to program Android devices. Now, again, this can be either your phone or your tablet. You can't, however, use it with iPads or anything like that, or iPhones. It's specifically used for the Android platform, mobile platform. So again, anything with this, again, your typical Samsung or your HTC, can be used with MIT App Inventor. However, you don't need the device with you to program or to code with App Inventor. All you essentially need it for is to test or to use as a final product, but you don't actually need it in order to actually code and design. So it's one thing to keep in mind. We're going to get started. So the first place you want to go is appinventor.mit.edu, and you'll see the full page with lots of different schools and different students using App Inventor and showing what they've done with it. Like, for example, this one was a Florida middle school designed an app that measured concussions and helped prevent concussions for football teams and for bike riders and motorcycle riders. Okay, App Inventor is open source too, so you can remix, quote unquote. You can find out other people's code, look at that and use it as a model for your code as well. So that's a great thing about being open source. It's free, obviously. So on the page, you have your getting started, your tutorials, your teach, and your forums. Right? Again, pretty self-explanatory, but getting started is going to show you the setup. This is where we're going to go first. Then our tutorials are going to go, the tutorials are basic step-by-step guides. And actually the tutorials I'm going to go through today are the ones that are very similar, or if not almost exactly the same as the tutorials on this website. So if mine aren't clear enough, feel free to come back and check these ones out as well. Here's some different curriculum. So a lot of the tutorials offered on here are in video form, but there's some really good, sophisticated information out there that can really help you elaborate with your code, with your coding, and with your apps. We encourage you to check that out as well. And this is available in your teach, in this teach option right here. And then you have your forums where MIT App Inventor members, talk and communicate with each other. News and events. So sometimes I know that there's MIT App Inventor meetups. This is where you get, find out some of the stuff that's going on around town and MIT App Inventor. Okay, so next part is I'm gonna get you into the setup now. And in order to get to the setup, we have to go to getting started. Okay. Now remember, MIT App Inventor is for programming or coding different apps or designing different apps for mobile devices. This is what it's used for, right? So it would behoove you to have a mobile device, Android-based mobile device, whether it be a tablet or a phone, and to use that as a platform for which you're going to design. The first thing I want you to do is go to setup instructions and make sure that everything is that you have everything you need. So what you need again is a laptop or a desktop and a mobile device. If you're using it right here, if you come down here, if you're using an Android device and you have a wireless internet connection, you can start building apps without downloading anything to your computer. Okay, so you'll have to install the App Inventor companion app on the device though, which you can get through the Google Play Store. It's free. Otherwise, if you don't have an Android device, you can still use App Inventor, but you're going to be using what's called an emulator, and you have to download that to your computer. An emulator is essentially a tablet or phone interface that you can actually see on your computer. Okay. And it looks like this. So right here, this would be the interface, and you can design here, and then you'll see what it'll look like on a phone. But it's not a phone, it's actually on your computer. And if you don't have an internet connection, you can also use your USB cord. So if you're in a place that has absolutely no internet, or you don't have access to the password, or don't know what network to use, you can also use your USB cable too as well. So the three options. Okay, so let's get into it now. Okay, first things first, you're going to have to go to start creating. Make sure that both your device and your computer are on the same network, Wi-Fi network. Okay, again, they have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. And if you're not using Wi-Fi, just make sure that they're connected. That your computer is connected to your device through a USB cable. Okay. And then we're going to go straight into create apps. Now you have to have a Google account in order to sign in to MIT App Inventor for it to actually use, so you'll be able to store things and they'll be able to identify you. So yeah, we highly suggest that you use here at OIIT, we highly suggest you use your Boston Public Schools account. It keeps it more professional and keeps everything in one place. Okay. So I'm going to go and allow this, and it's going to take you to our App Inventor page. Here's a welcome to App Inventor notification. It gives you notifications of the latest things that are done to App Inventor and the different patches and the different bugs that have been sorted out. Okay, I'm going to go and press continue. I like getting these because it shows me what's new and what's been fixed. continue out of this. Okay. Now I'm going to go from left to right, top to bottom, and tell you what each of these buttons does, in case you're wondering. Okay, so this tells me I'm in MIT App Inventor 2 beta. That's the latest version. Here's a projects page. The projects, I'm sorry, drop-down menu. And to my projects, it allows me to start a new project here, import projects from computers if you downloaded them anywhere, import keystrokes. This button's really important, especially if you're on Wi-Fi. This is how you connect your device to your computer. So if you're going through your computer, you are going to actually, if you're going through your Wi-Fi, you're actually going to use your AI companion. That's what you're going to be. That's what pops up. What syncs your computer with your actual device. Emulator, we talked about that already. Your USB device, and if you're having issues with your Wi-Fi or you're not seeing any of your apps or any of the code that you've actually put on your computer, but it hasn't shown up on your device, this is where you would reset connection. And this sometimes, if you crash, this is where you do a hard reset. This is where you build out using QR codes. Don't worry about that for right now. In your help menu, and here you have access to libraries and extensions to tutorials. In your projects, right, your gallery, a guide, report an issue. So again, if I press guide, it takes me to different areas within App Inventor, different ways to guide you through different processes and whatnot. Report an issue and language. The language is great because it just added Brazilian Portuguese, and this can really help out. Even though we have a lot of students that are Brazilian, we have quite a few students who are Cape Verdean Creole speakers, and who are English language learners. You can use Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, and which translates very well to Creole. Many Cape Verdeans can understand it. Same thing in Spanish as well, and French for Haitian Creole. Okay, so we do have these languages are available for those English language learners that are out there that are still learning English. You can actually program and facilitate language acquisition through programming as well. Whose account this is? This is my account. Here's my Start New Project button, my Delete Project, Publish to Gallery. Here are my projects, the name of it. You don't see any because I haven't created it yet. Name, date created, date modified, and date published. Alright, so we're going to start a new project right now. What we're going to do is we're going to call it text-to-speech. And we're going to do a text-to-speech app that we can actually utilize on our phones. And the way we do this is we start a project. Okay, and I'm going to call it text-to-speech. We're going to be able to press a button on our phone. It's going to actually say things, or the app is going to say things. I press OK. Now you can't have spaces between project names. They all have to be one word originally. So I just put text-to-speech. I'll put a first project in there too. And you see, text-to-speech first project, right? And it automatically takes me there. Alrighty. So you see on the left right here, we have different interfaces, right? We have the screen, we have the components, and we have properties. Right? So right here, this area right here is actually what the Android interface is going to look like. So the app that you design, everything that you see is you're going to be able to, that you're designing, everything that's actually going to appear on your phone is actually going to look the same here on this area of the screen. Okay, this is what's called the designer view. Right? This is where you put in different buttons and checkboxes and images, and make different layouts and media. Right? All of these are for the user. Again, this is for the interface of the actual mobile device, and this is what it's going to look like right here. Right here it's viewer. Obviously this is components over. Right? This is screen one, so this is actually screen one right here. You can see that every time I click on it, it'll tell me the properties. So this shows screen 1 right here. This is a component, right? And it shows me the properties of screen 1. So here's what the alignment is, the app name, text-to-speech first project, the background light, I can change the color if I wanted to, animations, whatnot, so on and so forth. But on the other side, we have the blocks. And this is where you program or you actually code things, right? It's where you code different parts of the, I'm sorry, this is how you're going to code, this is how you're going to program the behavior of the actual buttons and the actual interface of the device. So this is where you would code. So I'm going to go back to Designer. The first thing I'm going to do is pull out a button. Right? All you do is drag, click on it, drag, and drop, and right here, text for button 1. This is the button. And you'll see on my components, button 1 is highlighted. And here is the properties of text of button 1, right? And you can see it has all the different properties of this button, right? We have bold, italic, and we have shapes right here, and we have text alignment. So this says text for button 1. It's the generic text that comes when you use when you just take a button out and throw it and put it into your screen. And I'm going to change it. So I'm going to change it. I'm going to say press to block. Very easy, right? Very, very easy. And you'll see as soon as I click out of it, you just press to talk. Right? And so this is what, again, the interface is going to look like on your phone. Now I have to actually code what it's going to do. So I'm going to go over to blocks, right? And I'm going to go over here to button 1. Right. And so the first thing I want to do, you'll see again, if you're familiar with Scratch or you're familiar with Blockly, that you have your typical block type of programming blocks available. And so the first thing I do is, just like Scratch or just like Blockly, you're going to click and drag. Right? So when button 1 is clicked, which is the button on the other one, we're going to have to give it a behavior now. So this is as soon as I click on the button, right, something is going to happen. So I'm going to go back to Designer, and then I'm going to go to Media, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag and drop text to speech, right? So that means anything that I, when something is pressed, the speech is going to come out. Right? You'll see that. So now I have 2 components, right? So let's go over here to the block side. And now I'm going to click on the text-to-speech button, right? And so I'm going to get this call, text-to-speech 1, speak. So anytime that this button 1 is clicked, it's going to trigger this text-to-speech block, right? So we have that there already now. And now we have to give it something to say. Okay, what I'm going to do is click on text, click on these quotation mark blocks on this, throw it right in here. Okay, and so I'm going to say, oh, look, I am talking. So I'm going to go back here to Designer block. And you can see, and I'm going to cut for a second because I'm going to show you via QuickTime what happens when I click on this button on my actual phone. So you can see on my device, you're going to see the press to talk button, right, which will look like this, right? And when I press it, it'll say the text that I entered in the block, the text block.
Look, I am a phone and I am talking.
Again.
Look, I am a phone and I am talking.
Simple and easy, right? This is the first tutorial, and it's the most simple. It's only composed of 3 blocks and 1 button.
Look, I am a phone and I am talking.
This is what the interface will look like on your Android device. The next section that I want to take you to is using your accelerometer and designing an app that speaks when you actually shake it. So let's go here to screen share. So we already have that section with text-to-speech, right? So it presses and it actually ends up talking. Now what we're going to do is we are going to keep these blocks here, right? And we're going to come over here to the designer aspect, the designer page of MIT App Inventor. We're going to come over here to sensors. Before we're in media, sorry, we were in user interface, which we had button and whatnot. Now we're going to come down here to sensors. I'm going to get the sensor, I'm going to drag it into my screen. And you'll see it's a non-visible component because it's actually part of the phone or the tablet. And here it is. So now that's on there, and then we have to go to the blocks to change the behavior of the phone when the accelerometer is actually activated. So like we did before with text-to-speech and button, we're going to go over to your accelerometer sensor. You choose when accelerometer sensor 1 is shaken, it does something, right? So I'm going to come over here and pull it out and drag it here. But I want to do the same thing. I want it to talk. So we can use the same text-to-speech blocks right here in order to make the phone talk when the accelerometer is activated by shaking. So what I'm going to do here is I can right-click on here and I'm going to press duplicate. It makes the exact same blocks, and I'm going to plug it in right here, right? You'll see now we have the button code. Now we have the accelerometer code, right? But it says the same thing, and I want to say something different. So when it shakes, I'm going to put "stop shaking me." Right. There you have it. This is the second one. So again, pretty simple. We'll go back to, I'll show you how to do it again. Go to designer page, we click on sensors, and we go to accelerometer. We drag it in here. Then we go to blocks. Click on the accelerometer for the menu of blocks associated with it. When accelerometer 1 is shaking, you drag this out, and then you copy and paste these two and drag them into the accelerometer sensor block. And I change the words up to stop shaking. You can change it to whatever you want. So these are the 2 things that are, that I wanted to show you with having to do with MIT App Inventor. You can do a lot of different things. These are just the 2 of the easiest. And again, this is the sampler series, so we just want to get your feet wet and show you a couple of the easiest strings of code that we can teach you in order to utilize. We're using the accelerometer sensor, and so we've typed in the text already, we've included the blocks, and now every time I shake my phone right here, every time I shake my mobile device, you will hear,
Stop shaking me. Stop shaking me. Stop shaking me.
right? And you'll notice that nothing has changed on the screen or in the app because it's utilizing a sensor that's within the phone, right? It's non-visible. So, but
Stop shaking me. Stop shaking me. Stop shaking me.
every time I shake it, that comes up. We programmed that with the 3 blocks. However, to end, we hope you had a great time doing this tutorial with us. Again, this is the last video webinar for the Coding Sampler series. Please go to your BPS Learns page and you'll see that you'll have today's meet. Again, we want to thank you for coming to session 13 of the Coding Sampler series. This was MIT App Inventor. Please, today, we would like you to go to the last session. Please fill out the, if you have any questions, you go to today's meet, Coding Sampler. Don't, the webinar is over, but this, and I showed this in the beginning of the session, today's meet, URL is here. The YouTube link will be posted here as well. This is not it, but it'll be posted in the session. We ask that you please do the MIT App Inventor assignment 1 of 2, which is essentially fill out the form that we asked you to fill out a little earlier today. Fill out the form associated, or the evaluation associated with this particular session. And then what we'd also like you to do is log on to MIT App Inventor with your BPS Google account and create your own basic and advanced text-to-speech app. You can do the ones that I just did, or you can choose or do your own. Feel free to play with the text or go on and read a little bit more in the curriculum page. And we'd like you to please make a 5-second clip of you using the app on either an Android mobile device or on your mobile device. If you can't do that, you can do it. You can download the emulator and do it via screencast. And then please create your own ball bounce app using the tutorials. So we're posting the tutorials on BPS Learns. Just go ahead and check out the tutorial. Again, it'll be posted in this section. And please make sure to use the flung block and the edge block so they bounce, so the ball bounces and the speed varies. Again, capture via the clip or screencast. Either way, you can do a clip of your actual mobile device or a screencast of the emulator. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you taking part in this webinar. Thank you so much.
So thank you again for watching the final webinar. That was session 13. And thank you all for hanging out with us for the entire summer through the 13 sessions. And again, if you are seeking to get PDPs for these series, you need to complete 5 assignments. And the due date for that is September 5th, which is Labor Day, by the end of the day. And if you are not trying to get PDPs, then you know these videos are all available for any time foreseeable future, and you're welcome to come back and watch it at any time. We also said that if you'd like the PDPs, you need to do an implementation plan. We are finalizing those, and we'll be posting them on BPS Learns very shortly. It's going to be some sort of a very short Google form that shouldn't take you too long to complete. So again, all of this assignments due by September 5th if you are trying to get PDPs for the series, and that is you need to watch and finish assignments for 5 sessions, 5 out of the 13 sessions, and complete the implementation plan. If you came to the hardware sampler earlier today, that also counts as a session as well. All right, and we are also very interested in knowing what other future PDs you're looking for the upcoming school year. And if any of the topics that we covered during the 13 sessions interest you and you want to find out more about it, definitely let us know. We will be planning PDs for upcoming year as a team, and we'd like to get your input on what is most important to you. All right, so I will be tuning out, and I just want to say goodbye on behalf of Rashmi and Nick as well. And thank you again for tuning in for the whole summer. Bye-bye.